Hello, everyone. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Long Distance Pizza Party podcast. This is episode 9. Yeah, it's 9.
Maybe.
Because Strange commented about last week. We are on episode 9. So the episode we would be recording for Thanksgiving will be episode 10. If the math's right.
Bro, you stop. You're going in and out.
This week, so with us today we have Crad and we have SillyBoy. Strange is not here. He is not feeling well, so he didn't want to be on and not be 100%.
I'm listening.
So, gentlemen, what are we talking about today? Because we actually had a suggestion from Strange.
You are seeing the same problem as I'm seeing, right, Silly?
Hello?
Okay, just checking.
It's definitely him.
Make sure I'm not imagining things.
What's going on?
This is kind of what happened last episode, too, honestly.
Really? I didn't even take time to listen to the last episode.
Uh-oh.
It's kind of hard to do that when you're flying in a airplane.
Yeah, it got to the point where he could be mic only for a while, then he came back and had to go mic only for a minute, and then came back.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, so something's definitely going on his side. Matter of fact, he's probably still talking and doesn't realize he's messed up.
Can you guys hear me?
Technical difficulties, I suppose. Yes, technical difficulties.
Computer issue. I'm chalking up to a me issue. That's what we're doing. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Long Distance Pizza Party podcast, episode 9. I think it's episode 9. Take 2, because I'm not sure what happened to my computer. I don't know if it's an issue or connection issue or all of the above. So, with us today we have SillyBoy and we have Crad. The only 2 today. Strange is not feeling well, so he felt like he wouldn't be a big active participant. So he'll be back here next week. Next week actually is going to be on Thanksgiving. So I think we're going to just record next week if that's fine with everyone. We kind of discussed this earlier. So if that's okay. Hayden will be with us. He was supposed to be here this week, but he had something come up and he... stuff happens. I know he's really busy, so he said next week he will be available. So, gentlemen, what are we talking about this week? Because we had a couple ideas floating around earlier about what to talk about. Strange had suggested weird cults, it was Crad that said video games, strange cults, or strange cults and video games, and then the Strange was like, you gotta check out these cults because they're super weird. So I really don't know where to start. Did anyone play the new Spider-Man game? I guess we can start there.
I think first of all, I was going to say,
I have it. I own it. I played the first hour of it. Spider-Man 2.
What were we gonna say, Crad?
I was going to say, I think first of all, we need to do a fundraiser to get you better equipment.
I might need a new computer. I'm not sure what happened. So it's funny. So the other day,
so our main man Nathan here can get new equipment that doesn't want to echo and back and forth and such.
I know. Oh, it was funny the other day. It's on now.
He literally can't change it because it's recording.
Oh, well, whoops. But anyway, I might need a new computer. I'll have to put on my Christmas list. But the other day I had to do a Bible presentation for church, and my computer sounded like it was going to take off and explode. Because nothing was open. It was just, I need to clean my computer. That's the issue, which might be causing this. I might just need to take an hour and clean my computer. So
I feel like this is more of a networking issue, though, because of the quality.
It shouldn't be. My internet's fine.
But you might not be receiving that.
I don't know. My internet is generally
fine.
Fuzzy to you? I really don't know. Oh no, you guys are fuzzy to me. But Crad's usually fuzzy. So.
Well, I noticed
I'm a very fuzzy guy.
Film grain in mine.
Sure. Well, whatever. But yeah, weird cults or let's do one subject at a time. Spider-Man. I've seen a lot of videos on it. I don't play video games, but there is a cult in the video game, kind of. I guess isn't it a side mission?
I have no clue.
Or is it?
I basically played through the first part, beat up Sandman, and there was another cutscene or something. And I haven't played since. I've been on the road.
Gotcha. Well,
since that.
So spoilers. They introduced Carnage in the game, but he's part of a cult. But it's before he gets the symbiote. It's before Cletus gets the symbiote.
Okay.
Or symbiote, as Sony likes to say it.
Sony's goofy.
So, I hate that. Thanks, Sony, for having that in the culture.
Thanks, Sony.
At that point, yeah. But Strange has suggested weird cults in things. I had to look this up because one was a SpongeBob cult, which there two different things came up for SpongeBob cult. There is the TikTok sensation of looking for the perfect SpongeBob popsicle, because every SpongeBob popsicle you've probably gotten is like melted or distorted.
Goofy popsicle.
Yeah. There's that one, and then there was like if it looked more wholesome, but the only information I could find on it was like Steve Young. Is it Young or Youngberg? The guy that created SpongeBob. I think it's Youngberg, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
That it was like a cult of like friendless and fun. That's all I found on that. So I don't know which one he was talking about. I'm assuming it's the popsicle one, because I remember slightly seeing that around. And I was like, yeah, fun, weird trend. Also, there was like Hillenberg. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, thank you. Some people some people just have certain like names, and like all these different syllables like get mashed together, so it's like whatever. But what was I gonna say? I don't know. Oh, there was another one about the SpongeBob trend on Yik Yak, and I had to make sure it wasn't a the Babylon Bee post, where it's like goofy made up stuff. Because Yik Yak, if people don't know, young people out there didn't know, is an app. It became Snapchat.
Really?
That's a fun fact I learned today.
Kind of like Musically becoming TikTok.
Yeah. Wasn't it something before that too? It was like something, and then Musically, and then TikTok,
Vine,
or something like that.
No, I think Vine's always been its own separate thing.
Was it just Musically, then TikTok? But I did look up a list of weird and creepy cults. The other one was the Rescue Rangers cult, which I was not aware was a thing. But as most people probably don't even know what Rescue Rangers is, unless you watch the recent movie.
That is a little old school.
Yeah, I'd argue it isn't even a Rescue Rangers movie, but it's more of Disney wanted to do Roger Rabbit 2, but then couldn't do Roger Rabbit because Warner Brothers doesn't want to play nice. But
are we sure these are actual cults, or is it just more of the idea of a cult?
That's what I thought. No, there is a Russian cult that worships Rescue Rangers, according to the MarySue.com, which all yes, because she was the girl of the group. But according to this, yes, apparently their love of Gadget burns with an unbridled passion. A group of people in Russia have built an entire religion around her likeness. They pray to posters of Gadget, write songs about her, and place stickers of her anywhere they can. Which is weird. That really just sounds like a fan group. That's what it really sounds like.
Right.
But like the picture they chose.
Gadget speaks for Mother Russia.
I guess she builds machines. I don't know. Yeah, that's my thing. Is like, what part of her speaks Russian? Because she's not Russian.
Maybe the tail.
Maybe because she's a mouse. I don't know. But the pictures here really look like it's fake, because one of these pictures is people marching with torches, and there's this blue. I don't even know what it is. Like it looks like a piece of like a seat cushion with her on it, but it doesn't look like it's her drawn on. It looks like they superimpose the image over it. So this all could be a joke.
Yeah, it definitely looks
this
like
also could be a thing. Yeah, this also could be a thing. I really don't know, but it's I don't know. Cults are a touchy thing to, I guess, talk about, which I did find a list of 14 weird and creepy cults we could talk about as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at some right now myself.
Do you guys see the thing about the Jake Paul podcast? The guy that was on it, he keeps popping up every once in a while. One of the hosts left, and I actually thought it was actually for a good reason. It wasn't like one of those things you hear where it's like, we hate Jake Paul, which I mean, I don't like Jake Paul, but like he was bashing his friend on the podcast about his religion, and he just had nothing left. So then he started his own podcast where I saw about that. Yeah, I was looking up earlier. It's George something. George Janko. George Janko. It claims to be a Christian, and at some point left. To be fair, every clip I saw of Jake Paul on his podcast was him bashing George about what he believed in, and at any point it wasn't like Jake was listening. He was just kind of like, anytime any other religion got brought up, he'd listen, but like for some reason he brought up Christianity, he just wouldn't listen. It's kind of sad. But all right, Ranker, you want to? All right, so I did find a list. It's from Ranker. Screen Rant. I really don't want to.
Recording is higher quality.
Oh, thank goodness the actual recording is higher quality.
I messed over the little red.
Oh, come on, there we go.
It said so. I was very thankful.
So cults.
No, I do not want ad blocker.
They're bad.
Or yes, I
Not
do
a
want
good thing.
blocker.
Most of them.
All right.
Very weird.
So one of these is the Happy Science
How
Cult.
much of this the audience is going to experience?
Oh, I'm hoping all of it.
I really don't know. I hope it's more. Hey, next week I'll have a new computer. Who knows? Breakdown. Go to Best Buy. There we go. Hey, I'll edit out the silence. Okay.
This is great. I just have this imagination of him sitting there reading the whole dang article, not even looking at his webcam to realize he's not on the screen.
It might be not as bad as we think.
Oh, so you joined any good cults lately?
All right, so audience can follow
although
along.
I do have an interesting thought about the origins of Christianity. Not that they are a cult. Like there's certain divisions of Christianity or so-called Christianity that do go to cult territory. But I do kind of wonder some of the descriptions with how Jesus started. The Jews to get set, his disciples and stuff to get set onto becoming Christians,
Right.
and how there's a lot of times when it was like he would do a good work or something, and he would strictly tell them not to tell anybody. Of course it didn't work, but I mean he still told them not to tell anybody.
Right.
It's interesting because
it's like being a parent.
He definitely did the opposite of what usual cult leaders would do. But
versus
it had to start somewhere.
Versus like every cult tries to have some Jesus figure.
This is what I'm doing. I have the power. I have control.
Like Jared Leto, his cult.
Like you said, Jesus was basically sometimes telling them, "Don't spread, don't tell."
I don't know if you guys seen any of that, those video of that stuff, where he's like in a full white robe, hair down, looks like Jesus.
If that in that vein, you could almost.
And it's like all this weird stuff. Like he has his own island. And recently he decided to scale the Empire State Building to promote his tour.
They got that cult mindset. It's a specific division of people who have this exact same belief, this exact same thought, and how this has got to be how it is. And it's like, well, if you're not right about it, that's a problem.
Right.
Right.
Well, and they were definitely all about
All
power.
right, for the audience, the
my
screen
mind
share is
goes
not
to,
going to
like, the
work. I'm not sure. It just
example
wouldn't work. All right, so
I guess it was
Happy
a Pharisee
Science
praying in
and the
temple,
image they
and
have, it looks
other guy who
Korean,
was
but it says,
saying,
"It is
saying
love of the
basically,
teacher, our leader."
yeah, saying, look at,
And
I'm glad I'm not like this tax collector.
it's, I don't
Look at
know.
all the stuff
If
that
you're looking
I've
for a matchup of
done,
world religions,
and
New
all this
Age
stuff. And you
hokum,
have the tax collector
far right
very lowly
nationalism, and
saying, I'm
infrastructure
on,
spending,
can't
then
even look up.
Japanese
You couldn't
called
even look
Happy
up,
Science is
basically,
free.
to
Okay,
pray.
so it's Japanese.
So
Founded
that's
in
an interesting dynamic of that
1986
too.
by. Oh,
Well,
geez.
even like
Right.
you got congregations today who are so I don't know. Could I say like micro autonomous? No, I don't really know if like they're individually autonomous, but like they feel
Yeah.
like if people in their area don't worship with them, then they're worshiping with a different, congregation that isn't truthful or right, and so it can be a cult divide in that way. That's not, it's not
That
good.
is
It's
true.
definitely something that actual man-made cults or creations that do not uh, adhere to reality or archaeological evidence, or I mean, you can Mormons or such. They have
Yeah.
their
There's.
beliefs, but they don't fit nearly as well as your mainline Christian who can sit there and look at archaeological evidence, for what they believe in the scriptures and everything. And while it might not just, like even Jesus, like the scholars that we have in our education system don't deny that there was a man named Jesus, and there's
Oh, yeah.
evidence of the
Well,
fact
even
that
if you
this
go.
very Jesus was crucified, exchanges between Roman soldiers, and letters and manuscripts of that nature.
Oh, yeah.
And
There's.
so really
Yeah,
the,
there's
the
tons
faith
of
comes
stuff.
in when you decide whether or not it was a farce to begin with, or if he actually did raise from the dead. And this is how you got all the trickle of history all the way up till to today, with people who are still talking about this man that if it wasn't on, it's one, oh my goodness gracious, so one of my favorite Bible passages actually is a wonderful quote in Acts chapter 5. And of course, it's not I shouldn't say it's the fun part of Acts. This is the more fun part of Acts. That's not Ananias and Sapphira biting the dust because they decided to lie to the Holy Spirit. Chapter 5. So the apostles are jailed. We can't even hear you.
I was gonna say I can hear SillyBoy. I'm trying to pay attention, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with Crad.
Hello.
Okay.
What's going on?
Technical difficulties and cults. That's the episode title.
We can't hear him. It's like our fearless leader is gone.
We can't see him.
So
or
we're
hear him.
finding
We're just
out
kinda taking
that
over.
strangers
So
are a
here we
good
go.
luck
Right.
charm.
So
Because if he's here,
get jailed
nothing
for
happens.
what they've been doing, and they get in front of the Sanhedrin, I believe, specifically. Yes, the Sanhedrin. And Gamaliel, who happens to be the very Pharisee who taught Paul later on, the very Paul that Saul right now, that changes into Paul.
Right.
And he says in chapter 5 of Acts in verse 35, men of Israel, take care what you propose to do with these men. For some time ago, Thaddeus rose up claiming to be somebody, and a group of about 400 men joined up with him, but he was killed, and all who were following him were dispersed and came to nothing. So we heard about this random Messiah figure. Then after this man, Judas, the Galilean, rose up in the days of the census and drew away people after him. He too perished, and all those who were following him were scattered. So there's this pattern where there's a Messiah, there's a false Messiah that comes up, and nothing becomes of it, right? And so Gamaliel's logic. So in the present case, I also say to you, stay away from these men and let them alone, for if this plan or action is of men, it will be overthrown. But if it is of God, you will not be able to overthrow them, or you may even be found fighting against God. And I have that like glued into my brain. It's like here we are. We have Thaddeus and Judas, who we would never have known if Gamaliel never said what he said, and we would never have known who Gamaliel was, or that he said he even said such a thing, if Jesus didn't actually raise from the dead, and all these events transpired the way that they were supposed to.
Well, on the counterpoint to what you just said, what I find interesting
it's
is that
and also with like
how they
cults, if you
false messiahs,
cults are
I'd
say very recent.
They died,
but
everything scattered to the wind.
They seem to only last. At least some cults last for a very short period.
In this case,
and then
when Jesus died,
you stop hearing about them, and there might be like weird pockets.
His disciples were scattered.
But I think like the most prevalent one's
actually
gonna be
a stronger
KKK.
church.
But like
because of it, the gospel spread. So
for some reason, I had a KKK video show up my
Christianity
YouTube feed
nothing,
the other day, like on the YouTube Shorts.
It became something was because of persecution,
and it was this guy discussing like
against
the hierarchy of the KKK.
Spread. So it was kind of like the reversal of what happened to
and
these
it sounds
two
like
figures
the
that
most
were
bonkers thing I've ever heard.
Kind of thing happened
it was like
to the real Messiah.
Like there's a wizard and an imperialist, and then I'm like,
the believers
sounds too much
that actually solidified the church, therefore showing he was the true Messiah and not a false Messiah.
I don't understand why
that's actually a great example.
Yeah, it's insane because you take any cult leader of today of the past 50 years that you heard of through the news, and what's happened. I mean, who was that one dude who the phrase "drinking the Kool-Aid" came from?
Jonestown.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. Has there ever been anybody following after Jones at all ever?
I don't think I've ever. Whatever happened to that cult, I think after that, it kind of died.
It's unfortunate that so many people
the Happy Science cults, going back to the list,
and even looking at that example, for instance,
this guy named Akawa believes he's the human incarnation of a supreme being called El Cantare,
in Texas, I think it was,
who combines Christ, Buddha, Muhammad, and
big fire. I don't remember
every other prophetic deity to create a 9-dimensional heaven with him at the head.
I can't remember the leader's name.
So according to this guy, every religion, it seems like every religion exists,
believing that they had found the answer. And
at some point, they will all converge together, and we all live in happy harmony
even
together.
When they began to doubt what was going on, by that point, they were so lured into it, and they were forced to allow these people to take the Kool-Aid that they were given.
That's not how that would work.
I mean, when you think back to it,
and then here's where the transition goes in overdrive as party advocates a vicious Japanese nationalism devoted to denying historical cruelties.
What craziness that was!
Which goes in the face of what they believe in if they want everything to come together.
I don't remember, I think it was David Koresh, maybe.
But it's always fun with these cults. There's always there's one thing of logic. And you pull on it.
You can go fact check.
We'll go with it.
But yeah.
It was
SpongeBob.
Well, you pull on one thread of logic, their whole thing just falls apart.
Diluted, and then by the time they might
it's like we believe in this one thing, but we'll ignore anything that happened in history.
Like that's
antithesis
of the gospel.
Not how anything works.
We want people to know the good news before it's too late for them, not the opposite.
No one was.
We want them to know the truth and not lie before it's too late.
Realism.
Unfortunately, those people
it's
believe a lie and found out the truth.
RAELISM, but he's got. I think it's an.
I think that's probably. You might sit there and point, well, what about Joseph Smith and the Mormons, or like Muhammad and Islam? And it's like, well, they definitely took the more religious route rather than a cult route, and then
oh yes.
Plus the fact I think their longevity is to the fact that they did piggyback off of what the scriptures were supposed to be
off of religion. It's
well, not what they were supposed to be saying, but they piggyback off of the scriptures, and so you have this like theoretically good foundation type of thing to springboard a spinoff of something. So I think that's kind of what attributes to them sticking around for so long.
Right.
Yeah, well, some of the stuff that they believe
very active in today's society to some degrees. And I'll give it to, I've said this before.
You can
as far as
they're the ones that only they can have two wives.
Religions, I'll put that in quotation marks.
I don't think they could have more. I think it's just the two.
Being nice.
But without logic, couldn't they have two husbands?
You think like Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons, a lot of the people that would come door knocking.
Realism. I don't know how. I think it's. I'm going to say it because I think it's an umlaut. It's got the two dots over the E.
Coming to the door from one of those two groups. I know I have.
So I'm really not sure how that's supposed to be said.
I'll give them this as far as.
The most notorious cults of the modern era, we've never heard of it,
devotion to what they believe,
began in 1974 with a Frenchman named Claude
Forellin. They are hands down a lot better than modern churches that I see.
He calls himself Rael. claimed he had a vision of alien spacecraft in southern France as full of beings who told him humans were the future and handed him a Bible.
Preach them down,
Over 6 days, the head alien, named Yahweh, naturally,
baptized until they say the word tithe kind of way. But
explained to
more
him
in
that
hey,
Old
let me
Testament is an
present to you
actual record of humans'
what has
early
happened to
days and
me
is
and
built
how my
to
life has
to welcome the
changed
aliens
because
when
of
they fully
my
return.
belief system. In this case, Christianity.
So we have an alien
what I know
cult.
to be true. So I got to give it to people like the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses and things like that, because they do a really good job at spreading what they believe. Even if I don't believe what they believe, they do a very good job of telling people about it. And I think we could learn a few lessons from them, honestly, on that front.
We have the Brethren, and his body Christ, and garbage eaters, brethren.
I've heard recently that Jehovah's Witnesses are the worst offenders in the cult situation.
Are they?
A lot of people who've come out of it finally. And there have been multiple people, at least on TikTok, that I know of, or like seeing in passing, where they're that's their exact subject matter is talking about the deception of the Jehovah's Witness and how they are, truly. And I think you even see cult behaviors when you study Mormons anyway as well. It's like kind of no wonder why a lot of their leaders fit a certain criteria of men who should not be in the places of power that they're in.
Right.
No.
Well, their biggest.
It is a good thing to hear from cults that at a certain point, some of these
was sent to prison.
Young people finally get out of it,
especially
thankfully.
in the sexual area.
I saw a video. I was at a doctor's office. This is forever ago. It was
but just doing
60
horrible
seconds?
things. And
It was whatever that showed, like here's this
extreme
extreme case, medical case or something.
But
it's like
so yeah, you definitely
really
have
weird.
To be careful who
like
you
one
follow.
of them was like this dad killed
to me,
the kid or something like that. But one of them was like this cult wouldn't let this pregnant woman leave.
But in the realm of
like
Christianity,
their commune or whatever, like
fact check him.
Like she had to give birth.
If they don't
she
tell
had
you
some
that and just
medical
say, hey,
issue.
Take my word for it. That's
that they found out, and so she was trying to escape. They wouldn't let. Like that stuff's insane to hear.
Yeah, that's one of the things
then,
that
like
my congregation's paid preacher, pastor, elder person. Obviously, there's always that possibility, and I think we do our best that we can to give every man in our number, every brother, a chance to get up there and talk either on like Wednesday night or if our main preacher's gone off on vacation or some other time, then we have men who step up and give a sermon. And yeah, we all say the same thing. We're like,
don't just take our word for it.
Exactly, don't take our word for it. Fact check us if we've gotten something wrong. You find something that's not in accordance with the word of the Lord. And it's something that bothers you enough, hopefully, and since if that is the case, to come talk to us, then that's really something that ought to be done, to every single one of us, because we're not, perfect. We need to hold each other accountable, and it's the religions of the churches that don't hold each other accountable that get into these messed up issues and get on the 6 o'clock news, and then every atheist in town is on the globe who catches wind of that article immediately tells their Christian friends, see, this is why your religion is bad.
All right. I told you so.
Yeah, I don't know how true that story was, because it's a reenactment.
And there's gajillion instances. So
yeah, I'm not 100% sure how true. This was one.
I think
when it was reenacted, so of course they take liberties.
You do definitely
whenever stuff's reenacted, like documents.
Definitely.
Every time a document comes out, what is the first thing I hear? Oh, here's 20 things why this document isn't correct.
Unfortunately, there are people
like this
that are
biopic isn't correct
today, and I run into
because they're going to take creative
YouTube
liberties
videos and stuff.
That
are really abusing.
Also, it's Hollywood, so they're just going to up drama.
And it's not maybe quite 50. To a cult level, but very
odd.
close to it.
Here's a famous cult, which
not in the United States. You have other
Latter-day
people in other
Saints,
countries,
which I just found recently. We have
videos
a Latter-day Saint
of
church here
people
around town. So
that a prophet, and
also,
again
I think
I
we
put
have
quotation marks on that, or
uniformitarian
apostle, again
uniformitarianism church
I
near
put
me,
quotation
like
marks on
down
that.
the road from me.
Will
So
have I
drove
saw a
past it for
video. You may
years,
have
didn't
seen this. I
realize
don't
what
know,
it
but they'll
was.
have their
So,
congregants eat
which
grass.
I found interesting.
Saying that somehow will give
Is
them
an
the
offshoot
power
of the
God.
Mormonism.
Or I saw another example. I think same guy.
Oh, it's
where
an
he had
offshoot
these
of
people
Mormonism.
drink
You shouldn't
petrol,
have
claiming that it was
that's
turned into
constantly in
wine.
the news. Unfair reasons.
Petrol being
FLDS
gas,
openly embraces polygamy, which the mainstream
just
outlawed
ridiculous
a century
things
ago.
that
I didn't
almost
realize that
fall
was
under a
something
mass
they believed in.
delusion type of thing.
Right.
People are just so abusive of things of God, and that bothers
I
me.
didn't realize
personally.
those.
Because again, that diminishes what actually does happen, and well, I guess I shouldn't say it. It seems like it diminishes it on a human standpoint, on a human level, and of course, the people who truly believe are not going to be. The people that truly believe aren't going to be swayed, and the people who don't want to believe are going to find that all the more reason not to believe. And it is very difficult. It's very hard to understand the fact that obviously we are not in control. And when we talk to different people, there's a very big possibility that we are not going to change people's minds very quickly. And obviously, I think that also attributes to the fact that we often miss the neighbor element of it, doing life with people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're on Facebook, you just see an opinion or a blurb here and there, and sometimes you find it encouraging, other times you might find it discouraging. And I always try to think of that.
Oh yeah.
When I get on there and people are like, "Oh, I can't believe you said this, that, and the other thing," I'm sitting there like, "Why do you feel discouraged about this?"
Yeah.
True.
I don't know if it takes them off guard or not, or what, but it does help me keep from making certain things personal. When it's like, well, I just told you the truth, and you're finding it to be, you're taking it in a discouraging way rather than an encouraging way. So
Well, I think
Right.
one thing
And
definitely
it's
the
not like
church
I
needs to
don't
be
want to
in
learn
the
about
midst of
these
everything
other
that's going on in today's
thing.
world is
It's
definitely
never in my
consistent.
focus. And
Consistent in our message,
it
consistent in the
being
way we
a
present
cult,
the gospel, not in
there's
the way, of
always
course,
that, they kind of warn you not to delve into the
you have to tell the
cults.
people.
Wasn't
Sometimes you
there
got
a
to tell people stuff
guy
that hurts, but you got to tell them
who
away
was looking at
in love.
maybe
you
I'm
know what
wrong.
I mean?
He's looking at all
'Cause
these
the
cult
gospel
stuff. And I think
can
ended
be
up
done
joining a
in such a
cult
way that it will. I mean, the
or
gospel does
started
offend
one.
people at times. It does.
It was something like
Do we
that.
try to go out
I don't
and
remember
purposely offend them? No,
what
I
it
don't think you're
was.
supposed to do that, but you are supposed to present the
I don't
truth.
recall. But
I think
in Tennessee,
again,
there's
there's
also a
people
cult called the 12
going
Tribes
different
cult.
ways. Some people might
And
look
the
obscure
picture
to
they
the
show looks like
to
they're
the
playing a game
course,
of
the real harsh
what's the game with the carousel with the ribbons?
realities, or what they
Not a
believe to be
game, but
reality
like
of gospel. I think of people talking about a
it
cult,
legit
if you
looks
will.
like that.
There's a group which is fairly popular. You've
Embrace peace
probably
and love
heard
in a
of,
hippie
which
culture
is
and sought to recreate the first century Christian
God
church
hates,
described in
and
the
I will
book
not
of
use the
Acts.
last word.
As
It
such, they have
starts
no
with an
formal
F,
ties
ends
to
with
any
an S.
branch of the Christianity practice
It's a
but
slang
messianic
word
Jewish
for
beliefs that teach
homosexual
Jews
people.
were responsible for
The
slaying of
Westboro
Christ
Baptist Church.
to seek establish 12 Israeli
You
tribes
may have
around
heard
the
of
world
them.
proceed
They're fairly popular as
to
far as
presage
Westboroughs,
the end of the
I don't
world.
even understand what kind of bandwagon dragged them into the reality. It's just, my goodness.
Well,
that's an example
if they're
of people that are
following
using
Acts, I guess
what
they
they
didn't see
believe
the
to be
context of
true,
Acts.
or a version of the gospel.
Like with
to
anything, there's
really
context because in
ostracize
Acts
the people
there
they
was the
should be
Christian
loving into the
church
kingdom, instead of
that the 12
basically
disciples had
saying, "Hey, there's no
that they
chance for
met in,
you
they met
because
in
you're this
secret
way or that way or the other." I mean,
for a reason
Right.
because of
when
what was
I
going
first
on.
heard about
So
them
it's like
years ago when I was in college,
I don't know
was
what
very
their
angry
leap of
and
logic
upset,
was to
and
now if
shocked,
they wanted
really,
to
that there were people like this out
take it
there.
as like we are a
And
small group.
so I mean that kind of
But I
borders a
don't
little bit on
see
cultish, I
their
guess, if you want to
reasoning
call it
to
a religious
do it.
cult,
And
because they're obviously
there's
their
two
own
cults on this
thing, and
list
they
where
don't
it's
care
like
to let people know
we're just
what
gonna
they think.
follow
And of course, a lot of
what's
people have
in
coming out
the,
from them. A lot
or
of
I'm sorry, no,
the
Acts in the
kids
New
and
Testament.
of
But it really
those
seems like
leaders and
they're
stuff that were
following
there, they've
certain
come out
aspects. But again, like you were saying
and kind of
earlier,
said, "This is what happened
it
to
all stems
us."
from something,
So I guess in a
and
sense, you could
it's
call it a cult. But then at the
odd, and
other
it
sense, other
seems
flip side
more
of what we're
understanding
talking
why
about,
people
you
are
can
swayed to
also go
certain
so
groups.
hyper grace
is
that you've watered
because
down the gospel. You really got to find
like they know little of
centrist,
something,
I guess,
and like
view of
they
it, where we're not,
fall
so
outwards
overwhelmingly telling you, hey,
to
there's
like
no
other
hope for
groups, like
you,
what they gravitate
but at
towards.
the same time saying, hey, we permit
it's
everything and
interesting.
anything.
I don't even know what this. I'm not even going to try pronouncing that.
Right.
New lobbying,
and it's always frustrating because people are stuck in their sin. They can't see past what Paul writes in First Corinthians about, and so were some of you. And they can't see the sanctification, the washing that they could have if they just gave it up.
Right. And I guess some people have also been.
Do you ever get
told
any like Jehovah's Witness
so
like
often,
knocking on your door anymore?
Maybe by
I've never heard of
society, not
that
necessarily by
being
the
a thing
church,
anymore.
but maybe by society. Hey, that you're so bad, or you're so you're
'Cause I
basically
don't remember the
past help.
last time. I
Which
mean,
I
to be
refuse
fair,
to
the last
believe that
time they
anybody,
came to
as
my
long as they're
house,
breathing,
they talked with my
is past
dad,
help.
Mhm.
and
I mean,
apparently they didn't
for the
like what
most
my
part.
dad said.
I mean, there's some people, like you said, that the Bible speaks of somebody
So,
having
like,
a
they
reprobate
asked us,
mind,
like, do you know
which
about this
basically means,
passage in the
hey, they've
Bible? Do you
turned to
know this?
sin.
Do you know
That's their
this?
lifestyle. They're not
And
coming
apparently
out
they
of.
didn't like my dad's
That's the way
answer,
I
whatever
look
my
at
dad's
it.
answer was. But
That's they're
uh-oh.
you're wasting your breath, pretty much. I'm sorry to say it like that, but there's
Oh,
majority of people I like to think of
oh,
are
got a
still
blip.
redeemable, no matter what that they've done. They still have a heart. They still, that. I guess I try to look at it as there's still a little bit of good there somewhere, that you can reach out for. But that's just my opinion.
But I don't know.
I was hoping you had a little bit more to say until I vaguely remember some Bible passages or a specific passage that talks about how if you're going to kick against the goads, as it were,
Hmm.
so much that you're going to insist on your own way and you're going to follow what it is that you want.
Hmm.
There is precedent for the fact that God will then give you exactly what you want. And
Right.
that's how that reprobate mind comes into play. And it's like you wanted all those things to be true. You want to believe in that sort of thing. So, okay, here you go. Now you can't convince yourself otherwise.
Right.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that because another thing the Bible says gives the analogy of Christ knocking at your heart's door. You've heard that before. He's knocking at your heart, wanting to come in. Well, eventually,
Congregation
just
for
like
the
anybody
Light.
that comes to your house and knocks on your door, they're going to quit knocking. If you're not answering
It
the
marries
door,
off old
they're
men, young
eventually
girls,
going to
and
go
enjoys
away. Now,
tax
will they come
status
again
as a
and knock
religion.
again? That's possible. But they're going to eventually
Lyle
withdraw
has my Church
themselves
of
and take
members
them
that kept it
away,
in virtual
from trying to
seclusion
enter
of Barney Cult member parents.
in this case, to your heart,
That's what comes
Jesus
from
entering into
the
your heart.
pillaging the estates of
So I think
deceased
there does come a
members.
point where especially if you've had multiple
Uh,
chances to hear the gospel, to hear it
They
presented,
believe
and you
everything is controlled
continuously
by
reject
one
it
guy,
and
bizarre
reject
racial
it and
theories
reject
about
it and
Aryans and
reject it,
Atlantis,
and
doomsday
like you said,
prepping,
you
complex
determine
mythology
this is your
involving
course,
owls, strange
this is
medical
what you
claims, and
believe,
cancer being caused
this
by
is how
bad
I'm going to
karma,
go about it.
shutting
I do
those who
think
break away and
eventually
harder
God
grip
does
on
say,
the personal
okay,
lives
I've
of the
given you
members.
multiple chances. Um, you're on
So
your
it's one of
own.
those very
There
detrimental
might be one
cults
more chance
that
down the road. I don't know.
that
I don't know how
you
that works.
tend
I'm
to
not
hear
God. I
about.
think the rest of the world, trust me, that I'm not God.
It's
But
one of those where it's like,
yeah, I think like you said, there comes a time where you've heard it so much. If somebody's presented the gospel to you, and you continue to reject it, you continue to do what you want to do, that eventually it's going to be all right. I've given you all the chances I'm going to give you, and that's a scary thought. It really is a scary thought, and I'm thankful in my case that that was not the case, and I'm sure you are too. That you did eventually make a decision to accept Him into your heart, and and I'm hoping that maybe even with this podcast, even though this has been a crazy, very up and down, weird podcast for this episode anyway, that people will look through all these podcasts that we have done and be encouraged in what they hear, and maybe even maybe cause them to make some decisions, different decisions, when they see that people like us, that one reason we started this podcast was because we all have an interest in similar things as far as geekdom and different things like that, but but that we can show them, hey, that you can be part of the fandom and everything and still love Jesus and still want to do His will, and hopefully that'll encourage others to kind of give a second thought to maybe the way their life is going. That's what I hope anyway.
Right. I'm trying to figure out where it is. It seems like it's talking about the right thing, but it might also be talking about lawlessness. So Paul writes in chapter 2 of 2 Thessalonians, start in verse 7. Says, "For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrains will do so until he is taken out of the way. And then that lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord Jesus will slay with the breath of his mouth and bring to an end by the appearance of his coming, whose coming is in accordance with the working of Satan, with all power and signs and false wonders, and with all the deception of unrighteousness for those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth." Yeah, because they did not receive the love of the truth so as to be saved. And for this reason,
okay.
ooh, we got two instances in Nathan. Hey, how did the dummy come back? Or
I'm
how
not
did
sure what happened.
I don't know either.
We've just been having a lovely discussion. You'll have to go watch it sometime.
I don't know if it's gonna.
I don't know what
honestly.
happened and what. I don't know. I might. You know what this is gonna be? If I'll just salvage it, and we might just have clips for episode 9. I'm not sure what happened.
Guys, this might be my favorite episode ever. I'm telling you right now. Hands
what
down.
episode?
Difficulties.
What are you talking about?
Straight up preaching. Well,
go ahead, SillyBoy. Finish your thought.
Yeah, we had just started touching or finished, I should say. We just kind of started touching on the idea of God. After you just insist on your own way again and again and again, kicking against the goads, wanting to believe what is false. God eventually is like, okay, fine, go off, do your thing, have this delusion. You're good, and no one will convince you otherwise. You get to have your delusion. And so I was just reading in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I was getting. Okay, I had just finished reading verse 10, where it says, "And with all the deception of unrighteousness for those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, so as to be saved." And then verse 11, which some translations will say delusion, this one says influence. "And for this reason, God sends upon them a deluding influence, so that they will believe what is false, in order that they all may be judged who do not believe the truth, but took pleasure in unrighteousness." So that seems to check out. But it has some Antichrist lingo in it, and of course there's different ideas about Antichrist and stuff like that, but one of the biggest ones that remain true that is probably more scary is the fact that the spirit of the Antichrist is something that we all could have. Anything that is opposed to Christ, anything that denies his power and what he stands for, and what the king, his rules, his edicts as the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, is Antichrist. And that's something that we need to watch out for. But then, yeah, the whole strong delusion or deluding influence being the case of locking somebody away in their reprobate mind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think that's where Christianity's viewed as the cult, because there are, and there's an echo, whatever. There's a chunk of people that will see us being negative, being the hating people, and so therefore we are the bad guys. And to them, they might see some of our practice as a cult, but also they do see the Mormons, the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they do see a couple others that do want to, that in some way preach Jesus Christ, and they see that, so therefore they attribute it to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, funny you said that. Earlier,
Back full circle. So what does this have to do about Spider-Man 2? Well, let me tell you, absolutely nothing, because I don't have the connections yet.
There's the Cult of Carnage, or whatever they're called in the game.
Oh yeah, there's that.
Which
thing.
I hate when
apparently,
they do Carnage.
I avoided these videos on purpose, but apparently, Spider-Man 2 is a heaping pile of steaming hot liberal leftist garbage propaganda. I'm sitting there like,
For what
oh,
reason?
maybe I should. For what reason? Because it's New York. They had to be realistic to New York. What are you gonna get if you swing around the streets of New York all the time? What kind of people are you gonna meet?
True. Or
That's gonna be
people
my
got
review.
mad.
It's gonna be a 5-star review saying, 10 out of 10, the perfect New York, in exactly the way it was. It had to be because of how exactly how New York is. I felt I was there.
Well, people got mad about Miles. There's a flag he has, and there was a glitch in the colors, so it flipped the flag and inverted the flag's colors. Because Miles is known for I think he's Cuban. He's Cuban Latino, and the
I thought he
flag
was
it
Dominican
flipped
Republican
colors.
son.
Well, they flipped it so it's Puerto
Whatever it
Rico, the
is.
Puerto Rico flag.
Oh,
It flipped to the Puerto Rico flag. So some people got mad. They're like, you got to fix that, and they fixed it. I'm like, I feel like someone when they tested the game be like, hey, there's a glitch. We might want to fix the color glitch. Which
Right. Well, among fixing other things, there's a lot of complaint about how ugly the character models are for specifically Mary Jane and Peter, which is odd. And they're like,
yeah.
they're
Well,
bringing
someone brought that
attention to
up.
this, and it's like,
Well, so someone brought this up, and he said he didn't have a problem, except it could be a rigging issue.
oh, maybe okay.
With
But like, it's not done
with the
on purpose,
models.
but it's like,
No. Well, also they're using the remaster model for Peter because they decided, hey, let's first time remaster the game after a year it came out, and the model was totally different for
right.
some reason. And they changed Mary Jane. Like I thought they just changed her hair, which I was like, fine, let's get rid of my hairstyle from the
Right.
next
And
game
then they
because
start pointing
show
out,
time
oh, well, her
passing.
face is like chubbier and stuff.
Oh
It's like,
yeah, no.
hey, your face would get chubbier the more you ate and the longer you lived. I mean,
But like a year
it
passed,
happens.
not like 10. Like a
Okay,
year has
yeah, that's
passed in the
true.
game, not like
If
10.
it was 5 years, that'd be understandable. If it was 30 years, yeah, maybe there would be
It
some
was
wrinkles.
it was a hard year. It was a hard year.
Hey,
It was
devil's
just
breath,
one hard
man. I
year.
mean, you never know what kind of side effects it had.
True. Well, Mary Jane's living with Peter. He's very stressful. He's always climbing on the ceiling and the walls,
That's her first problem, biblically.
No, see what you did there.
Oh, yeah. So,
Sorry,
fun fact
heart.
about the Spider-Man game, I just found this out. So, Yuri Lowenthal does the voice for Peter Parker in Spider-Man. So, the guy that plays Harry in the game, and I think also does the face model, is... I'm sorry. So, Yuri Lowenthal is Spider-Man, but he's 16-year-old Ben in Ben 10. The guy that's Harry is Kid Ben in the live-action Ben 10 movie.
What?
So I don't know how much on purpose someone's like did that.
So they got
or
a whole.
it was
What's his face? Morgan Mahoney and Mark Hamill switcheroo kind of thing going on. Well, it's not
I guess.
necessarily. Well, with Mark Hamill, he obviously plays a Jedi in Star Wars, and he voices
Right.
the Joker.
Yeah. The
No.
whole.
With
Mark Hamill played a Jedi in Star Wars.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're talking about in Mandalorian with when they did the deepfake?
Well, there was the deepfake, obviously, but I'm just
Yeah.
are you playing anyway? But then with Mahanahan, he did a live action interpretation of Joker in the Gotham TV show, and he caps and voice acts in the two new Jedi games as Cal. So
Oh yeah.
it's like the
We could
whole.
argue he really wasn't Joker. I guess there was there was a weird legal thing where they couldn't use Joker.
Oh yeah.
So DC has an embargo on Bat characters. Like they can't cross over if they're in one thing, they can't cross over into other things for confusion reasons. So back with Justice League in the original cartoon, you never saw Batman in anything else except Justice League because they didn't want to confuse people.
So like
which
Batman
makes no
couldn't have a
sense.
run of his actual show and then be in Justice League as well.
Concurrently, yeah.
See,
Even
that's
though
goofy
I think in
because if it's a
2004
different TV show, I would think it'd be easy to understand that it's a different timeline, it's a different story,
different voice actor, everything. Completely different. And they did that later. Well, then they adapted the 2004 show, which I think like the first couple episodes ran concurrently with the ending for Justice League.
Crad smiling
So
at
it's
his wife.
Like it was a really weird like embargo they had. I think they still have in effect.
It's like the FNAF movie, man. Did you guys see FNAF?
I have not.
No, I did not see it. I have zero interest to see Five Nights at Freddy's, but I've heard things.
Well, I had zero.
Where it's like isn't.
Do what?
I'm sorry, you're good.
We may have lost him. Okay, sorry, I thought we lost him again.
Uh-oh.
What'd you say?
No, you didn't lose me. Though I can't see you guys, so.
Oh, that's fine.
Let's keep going.
Whatever. What?
We look the same as we did 2 minutes ago.
Thank you.
It's like the dog in the flame room. It's fine.
Yep. Yeah.
The FNAF movie.
What were we gonna say?
Go back.
Yes.
I said I wasn't interested in it, and then, well, I grew up. I spent a lot of time as a teenager, watching YouTube movies and stuff. YouTube movies, YouTube
Matt Pat
channels and stuff. So Markiplier and Matt Pat have been kind of like the two big names to me. I never got into like PewDiePie or any of the other guys, but I was kind of bummed to find out that Mark would have been in the movie had his current cinematic project not been in the way. Because he was making a movie at the same time as Scott making.
That's right. Though I think they've confirmed he's going to be in the second one, or at least they have plans to have him in the second one.
I'm hoping it's going to be fun, but then there was a little cameo.
What would his scene be? What would his scene even be? Like
in the first one, he was supposed to be the security officer at the beginning of the movie. It starts off with this in the beginning with the security officer trying to get out of at Fazbear's Pizzas, and then just getting completely ganked by the animatronics. But so that's what Mark was supposed to do. Couldn't do that because of Iron Lung. But so it got me more interested, and I was like, okay, well, Josh is in it as the main character, and okay, let's give it a shot. And so my in-laws have Peacock, and so my wife and I, after spending some time out at Kings Island, came back to mom and dad's, and we popped that in, the whole DVD lingo. We put that up on the TV.
It's so hard to get out of your mind.
Watched it. Right. And like we watched it, and I was like, okay, I like this. I understood the lore and stuff because I'd watched the game theories on it and everything, and I hadn't like personally played the game more than like 5 minutes or something, before, but it was cool. It kind of got weird towards the beginning, and then it picked back up, and it was definitely a movie that it got put in the horror genre. It might have been better off in the thriller genre. But yeah, it was probably exactly the project that Scott wanted to make anyway. So, Scott went out.
So
he
how
made himself
bad
a FNAF movie, and there you go.
Yeah, how bad were the animatronics to you? Because I have a coworker that likes FNAF. He likes FNAF, but he's like the animatronics don't look right.
Huh. Well, the animatronics were actually really good. Apparently, the Jim Henson Company were the ones who made them in the first place for the movie. So they were definitely top dollar pieces of I don't know, whatever cinematic prop.
Yeah, they had good quality. Fun.
Yeah.
So Jim Henson also worked on the Ninja Turtle movie, the first one. Well, okay, so they did all three of them, but Jim Henson died after they did the first movie. So is another Henson family member going to die after this? But I shouldn't say that. But I don't know. I really like that digital movie because of the puppetry. There's actually, I'm sure there's a story about the FNAF movie, them working on this with the animatronics. So in the digital movie, there's the set of them where they're in the on the farmhouse. They had to call the airfield next door to stop flying around for like a day because in doing so, like it kept messing with the animatronics when they were doing like the facial stuff because it's all remote control. It was like the signals would intersect. So all of a sudden, like the suits, like facials, like for the turtles would like freak out, and like stuff would like heat up in the suit because it's just freaking out. So they had to stop and like, hey, we need you to not like fly around for like a day so we can finish filming because you're messing up our suits. Which I'm sure there's footage of that somewhere of like them trying to do like a serious scene, and then it's just like glitching. But of course now that's not. I guess that's not really a thing. So I'm sure I don't know if they did radio signals for the new suits for FNAF. I don't know what project or what thing they did. Five Nights at Freddy's Five Nights at Freddy. Not really my thing, but never was very interested. When did FNAF start? I thought it was 2015, but someone was telling me no, it was earlier than that.
Five Nights at Freddy.
Okay, but yeah, no. FNAF and everything for me. Video games were never really a thing. My brothers played more video games than me. They were more of the, which I think that's why I never really played many video games because they were like way better at it than me, and I was just like, whatever.
You got tired of getting beat.
I played games. Wasn't tired of getting beat. It was just never. I guess I just didn't have the attention span to like sit down and play a game. But I think I was more of what it was, and then like my brothers.
Action figures.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. I just went to Ross today looking for stuff. So because it's around Black Friday, so all these places are trying to get rid of stuff. So that's something I guess we'll talk about next week. Is about when everyone else is here, maybe, or we want to talk about now. Stuff happening at Black Friday. I'm not looking forward to it. Fourth year working Black Friday. Not looking. Like I said, for audience viewers, I don't know if I want to subject everyone to like the glitchiness of this episode. I might just cut like interesting clips out and have it as like short form stuff. I might just do that because
please, for the love of God, keep it long form and send it to me.
I might just put up. I'm just gonna put a warning at the beginning. Just be like, listen, Nathan's computer is a piece of junk.
Yeah, we could make content out of it. But that's fine. You could have shorts, and that'll just like mess with people because they'll be looking for the episode. Like, oh, I want to see that episode, and then the episode's not there. It's just the short.
This could be like something that goes down in our podcast lore, like the unknown lost episode, and like there's rumors of a full thing floating somewhere. Like good stuff.
I'll make it. Here's the thing. I'll make it and then release it. I'll schedule it for 10 years. And then it can come out 10 years later.
That's funny.
Our secret episode.
That's funny. I really want to. Somehow, I want to see this again. Even if you put it on the Discord, I want to see this again. This is too good.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. So,
thank you.
Do you want to talk about anything else, or do you want to?
I think right about an hour is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna spend tonight cleaning my computer because the computer's not this old, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Right. Oh, I don't know. There could be tons of internet issues related to. It's just be all over the place. I'm sorry for your loss there, Nathan.
It's fine. I need a challenge. So
I'm glad Crad is having top-notch entertainment tonight. It seems like he needed to go.
I don't know.
Oh, this has been great for me, guys.
Being
this is
the
hilarious.
old bearded curmudgeon that he is, but
yeah,
I'm sure. I'm sure Strange is gonna love this if he ever sees this.
Oh, he's gonna. I'm hoping he cries laughing like I did.
Yeah, my misery. Thanks. All right, so whatever form of episode you guys see this in, hope you guys enjoy the episode because Crad sure did. But you can find us at Those Christian Geeks. So down in Discord, the link's down below. You can also find us on social media at Pizza Party Pod. SillyBoy, where can they find you?
Oh, on some of the usual things. You can find me on Twitch at SillyBoy1202, YouTube SillyBoy1202, TikTok SillyBoy1202, Facebook at Teal Corner if you like memes and random ramblings. I also run another. I'm just not going to even advertise the other page, but there you go. That's all you need to get started. That's the follow SillyBoy1202 starter pack.
Nice. You can find me at FT_Fast Talk Free Reviews on most social media platforms. What video should you check out? What do I have coming out next week? I don't remember. I might be a guest on another podcast. We were talking to each other earlier, so stay tuned for that. I can't think of anything else I got coming out next week. I got not this week, but I think next week I'm working on a baking video because I got to go to a baking competition for young adult group thing. I'm like, you know what? At that point, I'm just gonna make it content. So stay tuned for that. Strange isn't here, but you can find him at Strange 2 Society and Strange 2 Gaming. All the links are down below for everyone. You can find us all. You can also find Geek Alley Art for Talon. I'm sure I'm going to send this to him because he's going to get a kick out of this. So the next episode we should have, which I'm going to work on, make sure we have no more issues for next time whenever we record. So we should have Hayden, creator of Crimson 6. If you want that book to see what we're talking about, go to Amazon or go to sanctuarymatrixinternational.com where you can find Crimson 6, the book, and other stuff he's working on over there. So, yeah, guys, have a good rest of your day. SillyBoy, what's our outro?
One more thing.
Yes.
One more thing. Coming soon, a GoFundMe for Nathan's podcast equipment. Just want to let everybody know right now. We'll leave it in the link sometime soon. No, I'm just kidding.
You could. I do have a Ko-Fi link. I never
Subscribers
promote.
only to participate in. Right. Yes. What did I say? This has been Long Distance Pizza Party. Talk about the 3 things that you should never talk about because we're not yada yados.
Go with God and eat pizza. I don't know.
There we go.
Yes,
that's good.
There we go. I'm gonna end it because I think I do need to
talk about
my computer starting to
pizza,
smell.
And religion.
Yes. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna end it because I think my computer is starting to smell like it's burning. So I think that's a bad sign or a good sign.
I don't know.
Pizza time.